Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. As you guys can see, I took my braids out and we are fast approaching peak obnoxiously large afro status. As you guys can all tell by the title, this is going to be a Black Panther review. It obviously will have spoilers. This movie has been out for about 3 weeks now, and even my previous video that I posted about it had fucking spoilers. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Actually, I don't know if this review will be, well, no, it'll be pretty fucking spoilery, but still, it's not going to be like super duper duper spoilery. This is going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly format, and I can already tell you from now that this video is going to be extremely long, probably at least 30 to 45 minutes. We'll see what we clock in at the end. So we haven't had a good, 45-minute review video in a while. So get whatever you need, get your food, get your coffee, get your tea, get your Jack Daniels, get whatever you need, and get ready for this review. So we're going to start with the good, obviously. We're going to get the easy stuff out of the way because there was a lot of good here in this movie. The costumes were amazing. The hair and makeup was amazing. As we've talked about before, the costumer, the hair and makeup artists were all Black. Of course, there will be tons of links in the description box on the cast and crew of Black Panther. They definitely deserve like some type of awards. If you're into that type of thing, which you guys know that I'm not, but if you are into that type of thing, like they definitely do deserve some type of awards for the hair, the makeup, and the costumes, 100%. The cinematography was amazing, and you guys know I generally have a bone to pick with Marvel's cinematography. When I saw the first Black Panther trailer, like way back when last year, I even said from then that the cinematography looked great. Oh, sorry, I hit the table. I've spoken before about how Marvel has this tendency of filming their projects in lots of reds and yellows and oranges and golds. They put this kind of yellowish gold orange filter over top of a lot of their movies. It was really, really noticeable in Thor RAGNAROK, and that's because they kind of want a lot of their movies to have this kind of bright, cheerful, sunny vibe, but a lot of the times it comes across as cheesy and plastic. So I was very happy to see that they did not go with that color scheme for Black Panther. There was a lot of obviously blacks, blues, purple. Purple was like a big thing. Like the when his suit like catches the kinetic energy, it's like a purple, like a purplish kind of light, which I really, really liked. Again, lots of crisp, clear images. Like I've said before, a lot of Marvel projects tend to be muddy to me, like muddy and murky and just like I can't like what exactly is going on, but like really crisp, really clear, great framing, well lit, well shot, and especially for a movie that has quite a few action sequences that involve kind of a lot of moving parts. The scene where I'm going to be calling people by their names from like other movies and their real names and stuff, so y'all just going to have to like get with it and get ran over, because like the scene where they're chasing fucking Gollum through Korea and like Gollum's in the truck and like, see, I just want to say like Lupita and Denai, Okoye and Nakia are like in the car, and then you have Letitia Wright, Shuri, who's like driving like the prototype car thing with like Chadwick Boseman on top. So you have like a high-speed chase that's involving 3 cars that we know of, plus like the other trucks and the other cars that are on the road. There's a lot of moving parts. In a Michael Bay movie in Transformers, that would have just looked like metal crushing, and then like a Mercedes-Benz logo, very clear, So they did a really great job with the filming. The editing was really tight and crisp. The direction was really good, of course. Ryan Coogler did a great job there. Again, the cinematography was great. Like the special effects were amazing. There was tons of stuff that was like obviously had to be computer generated, like spaceships and shit like that, but it didn't feel like I was watching just like CGI thrown up on a screen. It didn't feel dated. We were talking about this in Beesbake the other day because we were watching iRobot, and when we watched The Fifth Element, and like wow, some of these movies you can watch and like the mix of CGI with practical effects, because practical effects are really, really, really important. The mix of CGI with practical effects makes a lot of these movies, you know, they still feel and look fresh, not dated. A lot of these like Marvel projects, like these Avengers movies, in my opinion, age really shitty. They age like bananas, and the special effects are quite terrible. Black Panther, you can really tell they did not want to fuck up this project. Like, this project had a budget of $200 million, which, like, for comparison's sake, again, was like more than Thor Ragnarok. Like, they obviously sunk a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort into getting the right crew, getting the right cast, and getting this movie right. Because I think that, like, Marvel has really been criticized a lot for, like, the lack of diversity in their projects, and I do feel like hopefully they're going to take it a little bit more seriously moving forward. I mean, this movie has been like a smashing fucking success, like just smashing, destroying box office records. And it's like, it's true that like this is what you get when you like really invest in a fucking project and you don't just like throw a project out there on some bullshit just trying to make money off like the Marvel name, you know? So like the technical stuff was just, there's just like I have zero complaints. I have like not a single complaint about like the technical aspects of this movie. I also respect and appreciate that this is kind of getting into plot. So since I don't really have any technical like beef with the movie, we're gonna have to get into like plot and stuff. I really respect and appreciate that Ryan Coogler, in terms of his plot, somewhat attempted to address the rift in the diaspora. Especially between, obviously, continental Africans and Black Americans with this movie, which I've talked about now kind of extensively in my previous video on this topic, and I've done some videos now with Zero Plus on it and some writings on it. And I can say that, which of course links will be in the description box, which I can say that I have never, in my life, in my experience, I've never really seen that addressed on screen before, you know, like to my knowledge, like the rift like throughout the diaspora. And I was surprised because I only watched that one first initial trailer, which didn't give away any of the plot. So I had no idea what the plot was going to be, and I deliberately like stayed away from reading reviews and, you know, anything like that. And we really got right to it with the opening, you know, like the question of what should we be doing to help each other throughout the diaspora? If anything, you know, the concept of a Black American as an outsider on the continent, or being seen as lost, or being seen as a member of a lost tribe, which is very real. And Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, and Chadwick Boseman have all, you know, been documented as saying that they want to, you know, like reconnect with Africa and you know, whatever. So I do think that the film presents from that perspective, and that's not all of our perspectives, as you guys know, but I did appreciate that Ryan Coogler put it out there, you know. He put it up on the big screen, which took a lot of balls. Like, that took a lot of guts, you know, to put that up there, to even open up a dialogue on it, to at least maybe spark a conversation on it. How do we get past this, if we even can? And we are now seeing like dialogues and conversations and things kind of happening, even if we're not all agreeing, or even if we're fucking fighting about it. Like, we are talking about it. Like, it did open, you know, it opened something up that maybe was not quite as open before. So yeah, you know, fucking kudos to you, Ryan Coogler. I don't know if you'll ever see this video, but you know, like, that was major. As we all know, like, I personally don't think that Black Americans should feel lost or part of a lost tribe. And I think we should embrace our heritage and our culture right here in the United States. And like I said, there's several videos now you can watch on that and shit you can read and stuff like that. But, you know, again, I just really, I do appreciate this. It's fairly serious subject matter, and even though the movie itself was not serious, there was some fairly serious subject matter and some heavy themes that we're kind of contending with, and that's a tightrope walk. You know, like, that's a balancing act, being able to kind of talk about serious themes or serious material, serious subject matter. You know, really kind of deep, large-scale ideas without necessarily making a serious movie, or a movie that's a downer, or a movie that you don't feel comfortable going to see with your kids and stuff like that. So again, like, that's great storytelling. even like attempting, you know. So yeah, it's true. Like go Ryan Coogler. Like kudos to you. So another thing good that I loved about this movie, I loved the women. I loved the women of this movie. I felt like the women really carried this film. Letitia Wright is just incredible. Like I really have a soft spot for that girl. She was in the season finale of season 4 of Black Mirror, which is the most recent season of Black Mirror. I didn't like that episode, Black Museum, but I liked her in it. She's extremely charismatic on screen. She's extremely charismatic on screen in Black Panther, just like really witty, really snappy, really, and she can act, like really building a profile of this character, you know, Shuri. And the relationship between her and Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa was just really fun, really believable. They really have that back and forth, that sibling dynamic that I like. And for someone so young, she's only like 23 or something like that. She did a really great job. Like she's holding her own on screen with like Angela Bassett, who's like a vet. You know, she's holding her own on screen with like Lupita, who's like an Academy Award winner. Like she's holding her own on screen with these people. So like good for her. She has a real presence, and hopefully, you know, she goes like really far in her career. Lupita was just amazing as always. Lupita could really act her fucking face off. Speaking of her face, she's so gorgeous. Like Lupita is so lovely that like I find myself looking at her face on a screen when I'm watching her movies, and it's like distracting. Like I can't even focus on what's going on because I'm just like, your face. And she had this like red hair that I loved, and like the way that her hair was styled. Like again, you can definitely tell. And I know I've said this before with my review of The Magnificent Seven, which was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who's a Black director. You can really tell when you have Black directors. You can really tell when you have Black hairstylists, Black makeup artists, Black costume designers, because they're Black. Like they understand like Black skin. They understand Black hair. They understand, and not to say that we're a monolith, because obviously we're not, but like for example, like the majority of like Black people have like kinkier hair texture, coarser hair texture. So it's like, what are some of the hairstyles that we're gonna do? Like what are some of the looks that we're gonna give Lupita? Because it wasn't like her hair was just in like one shape or like one hairstyle throughout the whole movie. And all of that goes a long way towards, you know, the final product of what we see at the end. And you can just like tell, like, man, like this looks amazing. And then when you have people that can actually act as well, that can actually emote, that are actually, you know, really selling you on these characters, it just like really all came together. Danai Gurira, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Let me know if I'm saying it wrong. Fantastic. I loved her as Michonne in fucking The Walking Dead when I was still watching The Walking Dead, even though I tapped out. But she's amazing. Love her. Angela Bassett as the Queen Mother was regal and fucking graceful, and she's just everything in every project that she's in. Like, the women of this movie, like I said, for me, they carried the movie. Like, I'm low-key, like, kind of fucking mad that they weren't on, like, more billboards and, like, magazine covers. Like, I get it. Like, Michael B. Jordan on the cover of GQ, like, Chadwick Boseman on the cover of Rolling Stone, because, like, technically, you know, like, these are the leads of the movie, especially, like, Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. But, like, for me, in a lot of ways, these women really made the film. They were way more nuanced and interesting characters than T'Challa, in my opinion, who is the Black Panther, yet manages to be the weakest character in the movie, which I'm going to get to more in, like, the bad section. Like, these women are, like, way more interesting and, again, like, way more nuanced, and they represent very different types of women, which I loved. You have Okoye, who's, like, the more traditional warrior that is loyal to the throne, yet we still see that even though she's loyal to the throne, like, we see why she's loyal to the throne, even to the point where, you know, where the person that she loves, because we know she loves T'Challa, we can see the camaraderie between her and T'Challa. We can see that, you know, they're best friends, which I love too, that we see, like, platonic friendships between men and women, you know, kind of happening, especially, like, Black men and Black women. We see them joking around. We see them interacting in a certain type of way. Like, she's hurt. Like, when Killmonger throws him off that fucking cliff, like, she's hurt. But it's like, I'm loyal to that throne. Like, you know, like, I I have my morals. I'm loyal to that throne. But then as like more time goes on and she finds herself like going against her morals, she's not just like a rigid character, you know, like we see her growing and maturing and changing. We see Nakia, who is more kind of contemporary in her ideas about how they should use Wakandan power to help other Black people, you know, serving as this kind of, this counterpoint to T'Challa that is maybe not as radicalized as a Killmonger, but like her and Killmonger, like Nakia and Killmonger are like more or less on the same side. They just have different methods, you know. You have Shuri, who's just completely irreverent and just doesn't give a fuck about tradition, obviously, and says what's on her mind all the time and clearly represents, I would say, like maybe a more like millennial viewpoint, you know. Shuri also being basically a teenage, you know, like a child genius who's in charge of all of Wakanda's advanced tech was also really empowering to see, like women in STEM and Black women in STEM. And generally speaking, as this movie, you know, progresses, we see women in positions of power, which is just always nice. We see them serving as elders in the tribunal. We see them serving as generals. We see them as spies. We see them as tech mavens. We see them, you know, like we see, like anytime anybody has to figure out how some shit works, Shuri's the one that has to like explain, like, okay, now I gotta tell you how this shit works. Like, let me slow down for you fucking peasants, you know? Like, and just really rich and just nuanced writing of women characters. And you guys have seen me complain about men writers that don't know how to write women characters. So it's just like, finally, I have some well-written women characters. There are no love triangles, as y'all would say, praise best. There are no love triangles. Like, you guys know I have an issue with the fucking love triangles because, again, time and again, when we see men writers writing women, like, they always have to be involved in some type of love triangle. We see it in Stranger Things, season 1 and 2. We saw it in It. We see it in like practically every movie that has women characters. There has to be some type of like really intense romantic subplot or a love triangle, or, you know, why is this woman character here if there's not some type of drama caused by her relationship status. A lot of the time you have male writers that just don't know how to handle the concept of like platonic men and women being friends, or, you know, women that have a purpose without being in a love triangle. So the fact that there was like no love triangle, like the fact that it wasn't like Nakia trying to choose between fucking T'Challa and Killmonger or some shit like that. Cause like, I feel like a lesser writer probably would have set that up, because we do see that like in some ways Nakia aligns a little bit with like Killmonger's ideology. Like, so a lesser writer would have made that like a whole thing. There was none of that. So thank you yet again, Ryan Coogler, for that. Obviously there is a romantic subplot between T'Challa and Nakia that does cause some conflict, and I probably could have done without it. But whatever, like, I guess it didn't take up too much space. We also have Okoye and Daniel Kaluuya's character, who are supposed to be like married or something. I don't know. It's never really clearly, elaborated on. We literally only get like 3 lines of like throwaway dialogue on their relationship. Like, oh, my love this, my love that, which I'm also going to get to a little bit later in the bad section. Because I feel like a lot of that was just like meant to set up scenes that come later, like the scene where she like stops the rhino is like, oh, of course the rhino's not going to run her over because they're like married, or, you know, whatever their situation is. Like, of course the rhino's going to like stop and like lick her face or whatever. But I definitely feel like we don't really get to see them in a relationship interacting. Like, nothing romantic was like hugely important to the plot. So I don't know. I would have preferred if there was like nothing romantic. And I've also seen a lot of people complaining because, now I don't know too much about the Black Panther comics, but I've seen some people complaining because there's like a lesbian aspect to the Dora Milaje. I don't know about that. I don't really know much about it. I have seen people complaining that like there were still romantic aspects left in, but like the lesbian aspect of the guards was taken out, which I guess I could see why people would have an issue with that. I feel like I don't know enough about it to comment on it. So if you guys want to like get to talking about it in the comment section, those of you that are more knowledgeable, like of course you could feel free. But as far as I was concerned, I felt like there was no forced romance. So that was a good thing. I really enjoyed Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. And you guys know I normally don't fucking like that guy. Like something about his like chipmunk face just like always throws me for a loop. But the hair that he has as Killmonger kind of offsets it. He should keep the hair. He should like grow his hair out in real life. Because in my opinion, he looks like way better with some hair. That shortcut, like the proportions of his face are just off. And I also feel like he has a tendency to overact and really ham it the fuck up. And there was a little pork. There was a little pork in Black Panther. There was some pork in these lines. Like, I'm gonna burn it all. Okay. You could bring it down a couple notches. But generally, Michael B. Jordan does, I feel, really good work with Ryan Coogler. I really enjoyed the two of them together in Creed and in Fruitvale Station, which was the first project that they worked on together. So I felt like Michael B. Jordan did a good job here. I do definitely feel like whatever this rapport is that he has with Ryan Coogler, he reacts really well to his direction. So I liked that. And it was also good seeing him play, you know, like an antagonist or an anti-hero for once. I feel like this might be the first role where we ever actually see Michael B. Jordan. Well, no, I mean, Wallace in The Wire doesn't really count. So this is really the first role where we kind of see Michael B. Jordan. Well, no, his role in Hardball doesn't really count either. So yeah, this is kind of the first role where we really see him portraying like an antagonist or, you know, an anti-hero, which I definitely feel like he embraced, which I'm glad. And again, if it had to be any director working with Michael B. Jordan, I am glad it was Ryan Coogler because obviously he feels comfortable working under his, you know, direction. And I'm not going to call Killmonger a villain because I agreed with everything that man said. I think his cause was just. And I think his methods were reasonable. And even Ryan Coogler has said that Killmonger is not meant to be a villain and that you're meant to sympathize with him. And I did sympathize with him completely. Like, I even think, and we were talking about this in the comment section of my last video, like, I even think that, because somebody was like, oh, Killmonger would not make a good king. And there was like a whole subplot, like subtext in the movie about like, you wouldn't make a good king, like your heart is too full of hate and like da-da-da-da-da. And I even said to somebody in the comments, I was like, you know, stepping away from like our feelings and our emotions, right? Kind of like going off logic, which is what I generally try to do. I was like, I don't really necessarily feel like Killmonger would have made a bad king. I was like, now, would Killmonger have been a kind and benevolent king, which is, you know, these are the traits that generally we find to be good traits in people with positions of power? Probably not. I was like, but he was not like, I mean, I know some of you guys are going to disagree, but I wouldn't say that he was out of control. I wouldn't say that he was unstable. I would say that he was very single-minded in his goal, but again, his cause was just. He had a reason. He had a plan. He had a way of executing it. He knew exactly what he was trying to do. I don't think he was wrong. I don't necessarily think he would have made a bad king. Like, for all we know, with his military experience and with his intelligence, for all we know, Killmonger might have made a great king, and he might have, like, led Wakanda into, like, a bright and brilliant future. Now, it might not have been the future that, like, we necessarily are conditioned to think is, like, right in our Disney-fied Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream world, but I don't know. Kudos to you, Michael B. Jordan, for finally portraying a character that I fuck with. I also definitely want to say that there's a lot of clearly cultural significance in this movie in terms of budget, having a budget this size, $200 million, having the backing of a huge corporation like Marvel via Disney, really lots of cultural significance in terms of representation, both in front of and behind the screen. That is super important. Obviously, the depiction of an African nation as a superpower in the era of Trump and shithole countries is really, really, really interesting and culturally relevant. And I think that all these things are like super significant and are definitely impacting and changing the pop culture landscape, the media landscape, the landscape of film. Kind of like how like when Beyonce came out with like her self-titled album and she just like dropped that shit out of nowhere, that like really changed the face of like pop culture. Like you could like the album, you could not like the album, you could think it's good, you could think it's bad, but you can't really deny the cultural significance and relevance of the album, right? And I kind of feel the same way about this movie. Like you can't really deny the cultural significance and relevance of this movie, but like does that necessarily mean it's a great movie? I didn't think that Black Panther was a great movie, me personally. And I will say that I think that a lot of people are letting that cultural significance blind them to whether or not this is actually a great movie, you know, like a great movie. And I had a lot of issues with the plot and pacing of this movie that I think prevents it from being a truly great film. I think the potential was there, but I personally don't think that it was a great movie. Like seeing people say they saw it like 8-9 times and they think it should be in the running for like best picture of the year. Like I don't know, that's a lot. And I felt the same way like after I watched Wonder Woman. Well, I hated Wonder Woman. I did not hate Black Panther, so let me not say that. But seeing people say like, oh my god, Wonder Woman is like a best picture of the year, or like a best comic book movie of all time, or like has some of the best fight scenes of all time, I'm like, she's reaching, Your Honor. Like, be happy that Patty Jenkins, you know, got her little movie, you know, that you got a woman director and like this and that. But like just because you feel like it's culturally significant doesn't necessarily make it a great fucking film. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and move on to the bad. T'Challa was the weakest character of this movie, period. And that's tough because he's the title character. Like he is fucking the Black Panther, right? It's hard for T'Challa as a character to be likable because he's basically a privileged, spoiled fucking brat. Like, this is no shade to Chadwick Boseman because, like, Chadwick Boseman was great. I mean, like, I guess I could, like, say that as part of, like, the good. Like, Chadwick Boseman was really great in this role. He's been the Black Panther previously in, like, 1 or 2 other movies, so you can tell that he is, like, comfortable in this role. And he's great. Like, he's a great actor. Like, seems super sweet, super funny. So again, this is like no like shade to Chadwick Boseman. And like he's even said himself that like T'Challa was like born with like a silver spoon. I think he said like T'Challa was born with a vibranium spoon in his mouth. And that T'Challa is the enemy. Now this is what Chadwick Boseman himself said. That T'Challa is the enemy of black people because his power and privilege as a prince blinds him, right? Like blinds him to what's really going on and like blinds him to what needs to be done, right? Which is interesting, right? It's an interesting quality talking about somebody that's a prince going to grow up to be a king, right? And I also feel like, you know, T'Challa is also, we're meant to kind of think of T'Challa as, well, we're not meant to, but I felt like T'Challa was also the enemy due to his isolationist, you know, refusal to help other black people, which was the way that he was raised. And of course, we see this movie as an arc where by the end of the movie, he's kind of standing against the kings and the elders and the ancestors that came, you know, before him and telling them, you know, like, you guys were wrong with your isolationist views. But like for the bulk of the movie, like he's on their side. So it's like very hard to fucking identify with him or relate to him or find him to be a likable character, in my opinion. So I'm sitting in the theater like, oh my God, like, die already, nigga. Let Killmonger take over. Like, let's see somebody new on the throne. Like, let's get some fresh blood in here. Like, that's the Black Panther I want to see. Like, fucking King Killmonger. Like, let's go. So that's, like, hard to reconcile while you're sitting there watching the film, right? I have a friend that, you know, agreed and kind of felt like the film represented T'Challa's growing up, and that people like Nakia and Killmonger are the real heroes of the story for wanting to help oppressed black people. So again, it's kind of hard to root for the Black Panther, which is what we're supposed to be doing, right? He's the title character, but he's also the weakest character. And I also had a huge issue with, in terms of plots, I felt like there was a lot of telling and not showing. So one of the first laws of good writing is show, don't tell, which means show me a character's motivation with their actions, right? Like show me with world building, right? Like make me see it, make me feel it, make me believe it, set up plot points. Don't just tell me with dialogue. The Oscars just like went off. You know, you guys know I didn't watch it. Like fuck the Oscars. But like Sally Hawkins, I saw The Shape of Water. I loved it. I adored it. You guys know I love Del Toro. Like whatever. I got like very emotional when I saw that he like did finally win a best director Oscar. Just because in my opinion, he was the best director of last year. And I do think The Shape of Water was the best movie of last year. I don't really care for Oscars and awards and shit like that as like markers of value. But I do think that was the best movie of last year. And Del Toro is one of the best directors of our generation. But like in The Shape of Water, Sally Hawkins is like a mute. She doesn't talk, right? So there is no telling. She can't tell us shit. She can't tell us anything about how she's feeling because she can't talk. She has to show us, right? Like that is a prime example of like show, don't tell. And in Black Panther, we get a whole lot of telling and talking as opposed to showing. Like we hear Okoye calling Daniel Kaluuya my love several times, but we don't actually see much love between them. The final scene with the rhino, where the rhino stops and like licks her face, was like, okay, I'm seeing with my own eyes that there has to be some type of love or familiarity there, because otherwise the rhino would have like ran her ass over. But like, do you realize that like before that scene, we never, not one time, see Okoye interact with the rhino? Never. We even see like T'Challa with the fucking rhino, but we like never see like show me some shit, like show me more, like show me more. We're told that Okoye and Daniel Kaluuya are lovers, but we're not quite shown it. We never really see it. And again, that's an issue throughout Black Panther. Lots of telling, lots of talking, lots of throwaway lines of dialogue, lots of monologuing, to explain shit instead of just showing us what's happening. And it was really a real issue with Killmonger as well. We have Killmonger kind of monologuing on his plans, but we don't see enough actual, military strategizing from someone that allegedly graduated fucking Annapolis at 19, which I have a friend that was in the army, and he was like, that was impossible. That was a plot hole, but, from someone that allegedly graduated from Annapolis at 19 and then like went on to MIT, like this is a smart dude. Like really show me how smart he is. Don't just tell me. Don't just give me lines of dialogue. Show me. And I think that as a result of a lot of this, the pacing slows down, like way down. The pacing of the movie gets kind of off a lot in that third act. That after fucking Killmonger throws T'Challa off the cliff. Like the pacing slows way down after Killmonger throws T'Challa off the cliff. I get that the movie is again called Black Panther, but there is a lot of focus on T'Challa and the royal family. And it's almost like they follow them around doing a whole bunch of nothing, doing a whole bunch of talking about other things that are going on, instead of showing us other things that are going on that might be more interesting and better for moving the plot along. Like, there were parts of the movie where I was sitting there, like, bored, kind of. Like, okay, I'm done with this, Like, after T'Challa is, like, fake killed, like, thrown off the cliff or whatever, and an outsider takes the throne, right? How do his subjects, the regular people of Wakanda, how do they feel about this? Is there a fucking mourning period? Do they even know what's happening? That there's like a fucking coup occurring? Is there some type of like public coronation or announcement? What other things like does Killmonger do on the throne while he's king besides like order them to like ship out weapons and like burn the plants and shit? Like what does his rule look like? Like that's interesting. That's something I want to see. And instead of like getting into what's going on, in Wakanda while T'Challa is gone and Killmonger is ruling, we like follow his family around for like 30 to 45 minutes, like up into the mountains. And like, we follow them for quite a while in terms of plot. And I really felt like it threw the pace of the movie off. And I also feel like it just really felt like a missed opportunity for like world building. And it left us a pretty large fucking plot hole. Like, what are the Wakandans doing while all this fucking unrest is going on? Like, and we don't even get a throwaway line of fucking dialogue or anything. Like, oh, the people are fucking rioting. Like, they won't accept Killmonger. Like, something. Like, we don't get nothing. It's like those people don't even exist. We only see them, like, when it's convenient. Like, when T'Challa and Nakia are, like, walking through the streets talking, we see them. When it's, like, time for the fucking challenge and shit, like, we see some people. When they, like, flying the spaceship in, like, we see some people. Other than that, it's like these people don't exist. And I would have liked to see a little bit more of that to kind of also make Wakanda like just feel obviously it's not real, it's not a real place, but in terms of the movie, to just kind of make it feel a little bit more real. Like, what are these Wakandans doing? What are they about? And this also kind of goes into a criticism that I've seen and I do agree with, which is that the movie felt a bit elitist. Like, we are only supposed to care about T'Challa and his family when T'Challa really isn't even all that fucking interesting or likable, you know? Like, there's a lot of focus on this concept of, like, African royalty versus regular people. And I've talked about this a lot. Like, I talked about this in my other video as a criticism as the whole, like, we were kings and queens and, like, Africa concept, you know? Like, we weren't all kings and queens. A lot of us were fucking farmers or shepherds or goat herders or fucking carpenters like Jesus, like whatever, you know, like whatever the fucking regular people probably are in Wakanda, which we have no idea about what the fuck they are because we really aren't told shit about them. But, like, we place a ton of value on these kind of monarchies and these monarchical ideas and the romanticizing of a monarchy, you know, where you're born into this royal family and you're a prince or a princess. And that's the Disney thing, right? Like, that's the Disney thing. And, like, therefore you have value. And kind of getting back to what even Chadwick Boseman was saying about T'Challa being the enemy, you know, you guys know I reject those concepts. You guys know I talk a lot about value. And I reject the concept of, like, having more value from what is literally an accident of birth. Like, you cannot control being born into a fucking royal family, right? Like, that is an accident of birth, period. And that does not give anyone more or less value, right? And I think that a lot of Black Americans in particular embrace this narrative of African royalty and Prince T'Challa and, like, the Black Panther, because deep down they feel a lot of shame about being descended from, you know, enslaved peoples, and therefore they kind of latch onto this idea of being a king or a queen instead of finding pride in the fact that they're descended from survivors, you know? And I think that Ryan Coogler films from that perspective, and it gives the tone of this movie a slant that I don't quite care for. Like, something about it doesn't really sit right with me, and, like, I don't really care about T'Challa's fucking family that much. Like, I really would have liked to see more of how fucking regular Wakandans are at least aware of what's going on, you know? And there's just also, like, so many other questions that are never answered that, again, are plot holes. Like, can they even leave Wakanda? Like, if they can't leave Wakanda after a while, like, won't everyone in Wakanda be related if, like, no one comes or goes for centuries? Like, how does Nakia get to, like, come and go? All that shit that happened in the beginning, and they're like, tell no one what you saw. Do we, like, really believe that, like, no one ever tells? Is there, like, some Men in Black mind erasure going on? Is Wakanda, like, a no-fly zone? Like, and I'm sure, and we got into this a little bit on the panel that I was on for Al Jazeera Plus with Jesse Holloway, who's the writer of the novelization of Black Panther. And he says, like, of course, in the novels and the comics and stuff, they get more in-depth into that type of thing. And, of course, there's only but so much that you could fit into a movie. But I think that some of this stuff about regular Wakandans was important enough that maybe it should have been in the movie instead of having the expectation of viewers that are going to, like, dig to learn more about what really should be basic elements of plot, in my opinion. And that's why I have that as kind of a negative, you know, against the movie. And, like, another example, like, similarly, we don't see any of the fucking Jabari customs. Like, they've lived up in those mountains for how long? Centuries, right? Centuries. Surely they have developed some pretty interesting customs and culture of their own outside of what we see, like, in the core Wakanda, like the Wakandan city, right? Like, we never even see, like, a Jabari woman. Maybe I missed it. Y'all can please let me know. But, like, from what I saw, all we saw was, like, the great gorilla and, like, his, like, peoples or, you know, his entourage, whatever. I don't know, whatever you would call them. We don't even see, like, a single Jabari woman. But if they've been up there for, like, centuries, like, obviously they're, like, procreating somehow, right? Like, and T'Challa's family goes up into the mountains. And we still don't see, like, a Jabari village. Like, so we kind of get, like, some hints that they're, like, fishermen or something like that, and that they're, like, vegetarians or something. And because there's, like, the whole, like, oh, one of our fishermen, like, found him at the edge of the river and, like, brought him. Like, okay, we could have at least seen, like, our little crew fucking the Queen Mother, Shuri, Nakia, and like Agent Ross, we could have at least like seen them like walking through a village. That could have been like 2 minutes. That could have been like 2 minutes, 5 minutes tops out of the movie, right? As they like make their way like up to the Great Gorilla's like throne room. We see them like walk through a Jabari village where we see like some Jabari women. We see like some Jabari customs. We see some fishermen. We see some boats. We see some traps. We see some people fucking cleaning fish or basket weaving or whatever, you know, whatever. So that we could see a little bit of how the Jabari live. Like that would have been amazing world building again for Wakanda, and again kind of having an understanding, you know, understanding more about Wakanda and the people in it and the tribes, you know, and how that all kind of works. And especially for a movie that is like so beautiful to look at and obviously took a lot of care to get a lot of details right from various real tribal customs and cultures and ethnicities and kind of incorporating that into the movie, it really just felt like a wasted opportunity, you know, because the Jabari are not important outside of their relationship to T'Challa, because like no one is important outside of their relationships to fucking spoiled ass T'Challa, so we don't get anything that's not related to T'Challa, even when T'Challa just got thrown off of a damn cliff, you know, like, and there's a lot of that, which feels like a big weakness in the movie. Again, especially for someone that like is the weakest character in my opinion, you know, just not enough world building, too much telling without showing, and it just like kind of really fucks with the plot and the pacing, of the film. So that was the bad. So now let me go ahead and get into the ugly. So we're good, the bad, we're headed for the ugly. Okay, so y'all gonna hate me for this. I thought the Black American representation of this movie was really bad. Really bad. Like, really fucking bad. I felt like a lot of the stereotypical kind of, I see like a little hair over there. I felt like a lot of the kind of like stereotypical like Black, I've been thinking, I don't know if this is like a real term, but I've been thinking of them as like cultural signifiers. If I made that up, I just made it up. But I felt like a lot of like stereotypical, I want to put emphasis on like stereotypical Black American like cultural signifiers were used to portray who the bad guys are, right? Like the bad guys have gold teeth. The bad guys have on gold chains. The bad guys like pull up and they're like blasting rap music and they like have these tattoos, and like even we see that like Shuri has these like tattoos on her hands, but they're kind of more like henna, you know, like tribal, ethnic, whatever. But, like the bad guys have these like certain types of tattoos and they're like dressed in a certain type of way, and there were like some really super fucking shitty and stereotypical lines of dialogue that did not sit right with me, like fucking Gollum and motherfucking Bilbo Baggins have a whole interaction about like mixtapes and entourages, which was like really bad and cringeworthy. Like Gollum like pulls up in like 8 Range Rovers, like blasting rap music, they like get out, they come in, and fucking Bilbo Baggins is like, oh, that's quite an entourage. You got a mixtape coming out? And he's like, I do actually. Let me like send you the SoundCloud link. And he's like, I don't want to hear your shitty music. And I'm just like, wow. So we're like linking like stereotypical hip hop culture to the fucking villains. Okay. Like Michael B. Jordan had a lot of like really bad lines and actions that were kind of clearly, in my opinion, meant to portray him as like a very stereotypical Black American thug from Oakland, you know, and, you know, like, hey, auntie, you know, it was a lot of that in relation to, like, the more kind of, like, poised and, like, regal T'Challa. And I felt like there were parts, you know, where we were, like, literally being, like, beat over the head with the idea of, like, Killmonger as, like, violent, aggressive, uncouth, disrespectful, you know, just like really linking the thug Black American like cultural signifiers, really linking like some Black American cultural signifiers to like thug culture and like negative traits and like okay, like he's a Black American thug from Oakland, like we got it, you know. And honestly, y'all know I do not play respectability politics ever. So like I wouldn't even have minded so much if there was like more balance to it. Like I don't mind a fucking thug. I love some thug. I love Young Thug. I don't mind a fucking thug. I need a thug in my life. Is the name of a motherfucking song. Look it up. Like I don't play respectability politics, but we get a lot of like thug imagery, and in my opinion, not enough balance of his poor ghetto, whatever you want to call it, upbringing, with the fact that we know that he's super smart. We know that he's super strategic. We know that he's super cunning, you know? We have a white person, aka Agent Ross, that has to tell us these things. He has to tell us that Killmonger is a black ops expert at destabilizing government. Like, no, show me that smart shit. I want to see it. Just like you showed me him yoking up some old lady, show me that smart shit. Like, show me that dope ass fucking military strategy, you know? Like, we know he's hood as fuck. We're shown he's hood as fuck. We're shown the hood that he literally grows up in. But we are not equally shown him, you know, like, show me a hood as fuck ass, African American vernacular English using ass, uncouth ass, smart as fuck ass, strategic as fuck ass, strong as fuck ass nigga. Like, show me all of it. Like, show me a well-rounded person the way that fucking people in the hood actually are. Like, don't show me this kind of, what's the word I want? I'm thinking of the word, but I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it. Amalgamation, like a collection of traits that you feel are negative, and then only kind of tell me that he's smart, and, you know, you're telling me about the positive traits, but you're showing me the negative, you know? And you're even outside of like Killmonger, you're like linking certain Black American cultural signifiers to like the villains and to like the negativity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like that. Like, show me all of it. Don't show me some of it and then like tell me the rest. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully that was like clear. But like, I really like the stuff about like the entourage and the mixtapes and the this and the that. I was like, okay, like, we got it. You know, like the Black Americans are the bad guys. Like, they're the villains. Like, we got it. Okay, like, we got it. Let's move on. Let's move forward. And I also feel like for all the buzz that this movie is getting for its like Black women representation, and especially dark-skinned woman representation, which is totally warranted, the fact that we never see Michael B. Jordan's mother did not sit right with me. I felt like that was a huge mistake. I felt like it was a huge plot hole, especially considering the fact that Njobu falling in love with her and having Killmonger was basically what set the entire plot of the whole movie in motion. Like, even going back to like him assisting Claw and stealing the vibranium, like, which led to like Claw like blowing up the shit at the border, which like killed Daniel Kaluuya's parents, which like led to Daniel Kaluuya wanting to like you know, lead the coup against fucking T'Challa. Like, the whole plot, like so much of the plot was like set in motion by this like Black woman that this Black American woman, let me be specific, that we never even see. We don't see a picture of her. We don't see a picture of the three of them together. We don't get a name. She's literally, she's a ghost, you know? Like, she's a ghost. She's a ghost in the plot. And I don't know, like it didn't sit right with me. Like, the only Black American woman that we see at all throughout the entire movie is Killmonger's girlfriend, who is never given a name, only has one line of dialogue when she's being held hostage, and she says, "I'm sorry," and is then shot in the head as a way to kind of demonstrate how ruthless like Killmonger is. Like, Black American women in this movie literally solely exist without any agency. There is no agency for any Black American woman in this movie. Like, we solely exist in this movie as like plot points, as like ways to get the shit moving and going, you know, plot points for the men. Like, the plot points for Njobu, the plot points for Killmonger, the plot points for T'Challa, which I thought was kind of fucking gross, especially for a movie that's like getting all this kudos for its like Black women representation. And also, that girl, the girl, Michael B. Jordan's girlfriend, was like most likely meant to be Nightshade, who is Killmonger's like partner in crime, and she's a huge part of her story arc. And the fact that she's like not even given dialogue or a name and is then just like shot in the head and like discarded like a piece of trash, like, wow, like, okay, like, all right, you know, like, I didn't like it. It did not sit well with me. I also hated the ending of Black Panther. I hated the ending. That whole last 20 to 30 minutes, like, I hated that Killmonger is fucking killed. We're just gonna go with the assumption that he's dead. I'll get to like a little bit later on whether or not he's really dead, but I hated that Killmonger is killed. Meanwhile, in a fucking post-credit scene, we see white-ass Bucky Barnes having a redemption arc in Wakanda. We see fucking white-ass Loki have a redemption arc throughout the Thor movies. Like, we see white villains, anti-villains, antagonists, shit like that, have redemption arcs all the time. And before y'all even start, PSA, this is fiction. Someone wrote this story arc, like, because I know y'all going to be all in the comments like, he had to die for his ideologies. Like, nothing we saw in this movie had to happen. Like, it's fiction. Like, so it's not real. It's not history. It's not a historical fact. Like, someone wrote it. Someone could have written a different story arc. Like, someone could have written Michael B. Jordan being imprisoned or something like that, you know? Even if this was a writing choice, the decision to, like, kill him off was the decision made based off his character. It was a choice that I'm still not okay with, because I don't like what I feel like it represents. Like, I really have an issue with him dying. Meanwhile, in a post-credit scene, we literally see another white villain healing in Wakanda. I didn't like it. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, and Michael B. Jordan has been like such a fan favorite that there obviously, you know, like, there are rumors of him coming back, especially because he drank the purple potion, you know, or whatever, and he like had the vibranium suit on. So, you know, for all we know, they might like Peter Parker that shit and have the suit like heal him or, you know, bring him back or, you know, whatever. Like, we don't see him get buried, or we just see him like fall over. We don't see like T'Challa like shut his eyes or anything. We don't really know. But again, like, I really had an issue with like him dying, and just like, I don't like what I felt like that represented. I hated that the damn fucking white CIA agent Ross became a white hero. Like, that felt like such a fucking trope. Flying a pilot, flying a ship, using like Wakandan technology. Like, we literally have, like, listen to this setup, okay? We literally have a white CIA agent shooting down ships piloted by black people, right? Daniel Kaluuya's men, who are trying to take weapons to oppressed black people worldwide so they can rise up against their oppressors. We literally have a white CIA agent shooting down ships piloted by black people who are trying to take weapons to oppressed black people worldwide so they can rise up against their oppressors. And this is framed as a good thing. And he is framed as some type of white hero, white savior. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. But Michael B. Jordan had to die. If I was live streaming on my iPad right now, I'd be zooming in. Because I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I hate that the people that actually wanted to help black folks worldwide had to die, right? And Jobu had to die. Killmonger had to die. Like, I hate that the people that actually wanted to help black people worldwide had to die in order for T'Challa to like learn his lesson, quote unquote, you know, in the arc of the movie, that isolationism is a bad idea, which I have an issue with that, and to open up the borders of Wakanda. Like, I'm a separatist. Like, I'm really not even against necessarily like the idea of isolationism. I am against the idea of isolating yourself from like black people that you could help. Like, I'm not cool with that. But like, a lot of these concepts, like, I don't know how I feel about them. Like, the people that actually wanted to help black people worldwide had to die in order for T'Challa to learn this lesson, that isolationism is a bad idea, and to open up the borders of Wakanda. I don't know. Like, I don't know. And Jobu got killed by his own brother for wanting to help black people. Like, Killmonger got killed for wanting to help black people. Like, I hate that entire fucking concept as a plot. And I also hate that the primary killings were of black Americans. Because even like in Jobu, you could probably say with like, he was like identifying with the black Americans more. We have like Daniel Kaluuya, who is Wakandan, who also rebels against T'Challa, but does not die, right? He doesn't die. So I don't know. Like, the primary antagonists of this film are people that have been oppressed and are trying to rise up. Which is why I like that Chadwick Boseman kind of said that, like, T'Challa in a way is like the enemy. Because it's like, I don't know, like, what, like, I kind of want to, like, pivot the plot a little bit, you know? Like, it feels like, once again, Black American bodies being used and abused for the sake of others' progress. That was how I really felt walking out of this film, you know? Like, so now the whole world, including non-Black people, right? Including fucking oppressors, get to take advantage of Wakandan tech and resources and shit when y'all literally killed Black people that wanted to use these same tools and resources to liberate Black bodies. Like, let me say that shit again. Like, I'm repeating shit because really a lot of these, like, the last arc of the third act of the movie, a lot of the last 20 to 30 minutes, I was like, wait, what's going on? What's going on with this plot? Like, so now the whole world, the entire world, including non-Black people, oppressors, right, now gets to take it, imperialists, like all kind of shit, right? Like, we have a whole, whatever that was, United Nations meeting, right? Now gets to take advantage of Wakandan tech and resources when y'all literally killed Black people that wanted to use these same tools and resources to liberate Black bodies, right? Black people, specifically Black Americans, had to die for you to, like, learn this lesson. Like, Black American bodies, again, had to be, like, used and abused for the sake of, like, others' progress, like Wakandan progress. Like, I don't know, like, a bunch of Black people had to die so y'all could, like primarily Black Americans, so y'all could learn the so-called lesson of isolationism is bad, which I don't even know, like, I don't even agree with that, because, like, I'm a separatist, so, like, I don't even agree with the concept of isolationism is bad. Like, are we serious? Like, are we serious with this ending? And the happy ending at the end is supposed to be, like, some buildings in the hood for an outreach program. Number one, that's, like, not nowhere near enough. Like, Michaela Cole, who's hilarious, and I, like, love her to death, she tweeted out a picture of her, like, sitting, and she was like, before any vibranium and resources will be given to the West, we want, like, a full, like, release of, like, all Black bodies and, like, full reparations and, like, release of, like, Black political prisoners. I was like, this was the Black Panther ending that I wanted to see. Like, the shit that we saw was, like, some real Disney, all lives matter, let's hold hands. And I'm not with it. And I was not with it. I was not with it. And, like, I had a real problem with that ending, like, to the point where after pretty much enjoying the movie, like, 2/3 of the way through, like, again, I did have some issues with, like, the world building and some plot holes and the pacing. But, like, I more or less enjoyed the movie, but I really had a problem with that ending to the point where I did not walk out of that movie feeling empowered. I actually walked out feeling kind of fucking angry and, like, pissed off. And I really had to go home and, like, sit with my feelings and think about why. Like, why am I upset? Like, why am I angry? You know, like, again, like, that whole third act, I was really sitting there like, you know, these fight scenes are great. These special effects are dope. But, like, what the hell is going on with this plot? Like, what the fuck is the message here? And to be fair, honestly, I'm sure Disney forced that ending. I'm sure they forced that ending. I'm sure they forced that scene with Agent Ross so that we could have a white hero. I'm sure they forced that mid-credit scene about opening up the Wakandan borders, because open Wakanda borders means Avengers can come in and out and Black Panther can come and go and the secrecy can kind of go away so they could have more crossover projects, because the mouse is all about that almighty dollar at the end of the day. But for all these people preaching about, like, the radical Black empowerment message of the movie, I just think it needs to be examined a bit more carefully. And again, not to take away anybody's happiness or joy at this movie, because that's really not what I'm trying to do. Like, I don't want to piss in anybody's Cheerios or rain on anybody's parade about this movie. I really don't. Like, how I started off this review, like, this movie is significant for a lot of reasons, you know, like is the movie culturally significant to be at this level with this type of budget and backing and basically an all Black cast and crew, writer, director? Like, definitely, like, culturally significant for, like, this type of depiction of an African nation, you know, as a tech superpower during, like, the era of shithole countries commentary, like, absolutely. Like, culturally significant for its depiction of dark-skinned women, like, absolutely. But again, I don't necessarily think that translates into a great movie, and I do think a lot of the plot points maybe need to be examined in a different way. Like again, like pivot, like let's maybe pivot it. I just feel like a lot of what the movie represents, the representation of the movie, what it represents in terms of changing the pop culture landscape, like Beyonce's album. I didn't like Beyonce's album. Like, that's why I'm using it as an example. But there's no denying the impact that it had on pop culture, right? Like, it's undeniable. Like, I didn't love Lemonade. It made me feel very sad. Like, if you guys remember, I did a review on it. But it's no understating the amount of impact that it had culturally, the significance. There's no understating the cultural significance of Black Panther. But I do kind of feel like maybe what the movie represents is actually maybe better than the actual fucking movie itself, which I guess is fine. Like, it's cool as fuck seeing Chadwick Boseman, like, Wakandan dap up fucking Victor Oladipo at, like, the NBA All-Star game. He did, like, a Black Panther themed dunk. He put the mask on, and Chadwick Boseman was, like, sitting courtside. He, like, did the thing, and, like, Victor, like, it's cool. Like, it's cool. And I love the fact that it's, like, bringing people, like, so much joy. It's making them, like, so happy. As I said previously, like, anything that, like, brings Black people joy, like, I fuck with, because I do feel like Black joy is a revolutionary act, because niggas want us sad and depressed and angry all the time, like, with their foot on our necks. So, like, not to take anything away from anybody or to take anything away from this movie. I mean, this movie's, like, made $1 billion already. Like, I can't take shit away from this movie. Like, it's cool as fuck knowing that, like, future movies might now get this type of budget and, like, cast and, like, crew. Like, that shit is dope. Like, there's a lot of dope shit, great shit about this movie. There's a lot of also not so fucking great shit about this movie as well. So, yeah, that's what I think. That's my Black Panther review. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's see what time it is. Let's check in. 1 hour and 1 minute. And on that note, I got to go. I've been talking for a whole hour. We haven't had one of these videos in a long time. So for anybody that watches this whole thing from beginning to end, thank you so much. Obviously, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. There will be tons of links in the description box. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace!